All right, here we go. Here we go. The anticipated episode. All right, it's here. All right. Top 25 players age 25 and under. All right. Now to be clear, all right, these players, one thing, these players are 25 and under as of the recording of this episode. And also, there aren't going to be any rookies in our list. All right. So, everyone from this draft class, just want to keep that in mind. All right. So players are going to be 25 and under and no rookies. All right.
It would only be two if it had to be, possibly.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, we'll
maybe
cross that bridge. We'll cross that bridge
not
next
really,
year.
Actually.
We'll play it safe and cross that bridge next year.
One player's going to be hurt for sure.
We know, bro. We know.
One player's going to be hurt for sure.
I know it'll make you happy, so just say the name. Just say the name. Let's get it out the way.
Next year, Jalen Green will be on this list, and we can end it at that.
Okay. Congratulations. I'm happy for you. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Top 25 players aged 25 and under in the league, not including rookies. Number one.
Oh, we doing number one. You always like to go one.
Yeah,
you don't want to do 25.
Man. Don't waste no time, bro.
All right. So we going one by one saying what we.
Yeah.
You first, second. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you cool with that?
That's fine.
All right. Number one, I think everybody know who am I going to have at number one. But for me, number one, I got that boy. He plays in the city of Dallas. He wears number 77. And his name is Luka Dončić. That's who I have at number one. Some people are going to hate it. Some people are going to like it. Some people are going to say, duh. There may be some problems with it. There may be some people might say, duh, of course. Who's next? But number one, I have Luka. So, Ahmad, please inform the people of who you have. I think, we know, but just to make sure we're all clear. You want a drum roll?
No. No, you know who I'm rolling with. Number 314, number 0 out there in Boston, Jayson Tatum, the most complete 25 and under player in the game right now. 3-level scorer, handle, create off the dribble, can shoot the three, excellent at the free throw line, can also defend 1 through 4 in the basketball court as well. Underrated passer. Jayson Tatum is the best 25 and under player in the world. So that's who I'm rolling with. Best young player in the world. So whatever you want to say it, 25 under, I'm the best young player. Whatever you want to say is Jayson Tatum. So that's my number one.
I'm not mad at it, but look, I'm gonna put the pressure on my number one pick. You got to win this year. I know obviously we talk about a bunch on other episodes, but with that number one pick comes a lot of responsibility, and this is the year where I think Luka could do it. Whether it's being in MVP talks or just actually winning a playoff series, this has to be the year. This got to be the year. But for right now, I still got him at number one. Okay. So who do you have at number two?
I mean, this shouldn't shock you. I'm a roll with. I really want to say Luka because it's just hard to say that Luka's not a top 2 young player in the game. I'm gonna roll with Trae Young though. I think Trae Young, after Jayson Tatum, if I had to pick between him and Luka Dončić, I think I'm going to take Trae Young. And the reason why I think I'm going to take Trae Young is because we kind of talked about it in, podcasts and stuff like that. I just think Trae Young is a more unselfish and a more winning player than Luka Dončić. I just think when you look at getting his teammates involved, getting them easier open shots, not holding the ball as long as Luka Dončić likes to do. That may be not Luka's fault. That could have just been the Dallas Mavericks offense. Who knows what it is? And also just from a skill set standpoint, Trae Young's a little bit more skilled than Luka Dončić as well. I know people are going to say size matters, which it does, but Trae Young can do everything on the basketball court Luka can do, except for probably rebound. So if I had to pick, and it's just like his run in the Eastern Conference, a legitimate argument can be made if Trae Young doesn't get hurt that the Atlanta Hawks possibly could have upset the Milwaukee Bucks and went to the NBA Finals. That's how close that series was really looking before Trae Young really got hurt, and then we're like, oh damn, Trae Young's not gonna be the same for this playoff series. So number 2, I'm rolling with Trae. I'm rolling with my boy Trae in the A.
I ain't mad at it. All right, so far you got JT and then you got Trae.
Number 3 for you.
Yeah.
Like number two.
Yeah, number 2. I'm gonna go with your boy Jayson.
Okay.
And again, I won't say it's a flip flop kind of thing for me just yet. But it ain't too much of a gap for me. But yeah, I got Jayson at 2. You know, obviously he has some, you know, a little bit more playoff success. You know, can score at pretty much every level, like you said, can get defend 1 through 4. But it's just, and I'm not even falling in love with the numbers when it comes to Luka, but at the same time, I can't ignore statistically. And I know they're in 2 different systems. I know that they're 2 different players, but like the numbers that he puts up are just kind of OD. And JT definitely puts up numbers, but like it's kind of doesn't make any sense what Luka is doing. Regardless of who's around him and regardless of what system you're in, it's still, you know, I don't want to, you know, just randomly toss in the Harden comparison, but I think it's one of those situations where, again, when you just strictly look at the numbers, like it's just like, well, damn, you know. And obviously, you know, we need the winning to follow it along, but as of right now, you know, I'm gonna go with Jayson at 2, keep Luka at 1. So number 3. All right, number 3, and I got my list on my phone, y'all, because you know we got 25 names. You know, make sure we clear. Make sure we clear. All right, number 3, I got Trae. You know, obviously what he did, you know, this past season, taking that team, you know, the Atlanta Hawks to the conference finals, putting the world on notice. A lot of people already knew how cold he was, but now, you know, to do that in the playoffs, it's like, oh, you know, maybe we need to, you know, start looking at you differently. Myself included. I always say, I never said Trae was a scrub, but you know, to put a team like that on the map, you know what I'm saying? You go on an MSG, you do what you got to do. You beat the best team in the conference, you do what you got to do. As you said before, you know, had he not gotten injured against the Bucks, who knows what could have happened. So now, you know, just looking at him in a completely different light. You know, again, not to say that, you know, I didn't view him as an all-star, but now it's like, okay, superstar conversations can happen. So I got Trae at 3, man. I got Trae at 3.
Yeah, and I got Luka Dončić at 3. But to be honest, like I said, those 2, 1 through 3 can be really interchangeable depending on who you ask. Because a legit argument can be made that Luka Dončić is, of course, the best young player in the world. Jayson Tatum's the best young player in the world. Trae Young's the best player in the world. But actually, I'm gonna switch mine. I'm gonna actually put Trae at 3. I'm gonna put Luka at 2 because even though Trae Young had success in this postseason run, I did see Luka Dončić, like, it's not like Luka Dončić he's been in the playoffs. It's just like he went up against the Clippers and stuff like that, and he's putting up these astronomical numbers, like you said, as well. So it's just kind of like, I'm gonna actually switch. I'm gonna have Luka Dončić at number 2 and Trae Young at number 3. So I'm gonna switch that. Even though, you know, skill for skill, I would probably take Trae Young, and for talent, I'll probably pick Trae Young over Luka Dončić, but like you said, I can't deny Luka Dončić everything he has to do on the basketball court. He has a lot of responsibility as well, especially playing with that Dallas Mavericks team. We can't ignore that.
And I think too, it's all about like who kind of Luka has played. And I think it all matters too on like what it is that you want, right? Like I think each of those 3 guys give you a different type of player and a different type of style. So when you kind of say that they all can be switched at that number position, I'm with you on that, or you know, top 3 wise. But I think at number 4, if I had to guess, you probably had the same player.
Yeah, definitely same player.
Yeah, all right, yeah, Devin Booker. You know, that boy, you know, took Phoenix to the finals. You can say what you want about the journey that he took there. Whatever the additions of CP3, I don't care. We all knew what type of time Devin has been on. It's obviously fortunate, and it helps his case that his team made the finals. But don't get it twisted. Devin has always been, you know, that dude. But now that, you know, he's been playing on national television more, it definitely helps his case. Don't get me wrong, but it don't come to too many people's surprise, you know, what he was doing, especially in the playoffs too. Yeah. So I got Book at 4. I got Book at 4.
Yeah, same here. I mean, back-to-back 40-point games in the finals. He was here. Devin Booker was here. He was here in the finals.
I don't think there's too much like debate or at that spot.
Where you go to number 5? Number 5.
Yeah, number 5. Go ahead. I think we got the same person again. I think
we should. I have Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, I low him. Okay, go ahead.
I have Donovan Mitchell. I think Donovan Mitchell's a stud. Donovan Mitchell has been the best player on the Jazz since his rookie year. Let me say that again. Donovan Mitchell has been the best player on the Utah Jazz since his rookie year. For people that's going to say Rudy Gobert is their best player, stop the cap. It's not. Don't disrespect Donovan Mitchell. If Donovan Mitchell had a legit number 2 in the playoffs, like a legit number 2 scoring option, a legit number 2 co-star, because right now I don't think he doesn't have a co-star. I know Rudy Gobert is making all that money and stuff like Shaq want to say, but like he's not a real star in this league. And I'm sorry to say that, but that's just the truth. If Donovan Mitchell, you pair him with a legit number 2 co-star, maybe like a wing player or something, the Utah Jazz would be serious. But if you have Rudy Gobert, that's why I was telling people last year. I kept telling them they're a fluke. I kept saying that. I said Utah Jazz are a fluke because Donovan Mitchell doesn't have a legit co-star on his team. So number 5 for me is Donovan Mitchell.
Yep, same here. I got Spot at 5 too. I mean, you think about the days, when he obviously played the Thunder, Russ, PG, Melo, 3 Hall of Famers right there. Then obviously, I was waiting for you to mention what he did in the bubble. I mean, you know how much I care about winning and playoffs, and some people make the case that the Jazz are a regular season team. I mean, whatever. Again, especially too when we're considering or comparing him to other guys who don't really have championships or consistent playoff success. Obviously, if you ain't been in the league longer than 5-6 years, you can't. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, what he did in the bubble, him and Jamal, who obviously we'll mention at some point, it was just crazy. And two, as you mentioned, to do it all without having a serious superstar along with his duo. Obviously, Rudy, all his defensive player of the years and everything like that. But
analytics,
right,
nice.
Analytics, all that, right, looks nice. But to not have another player who can just say, you look around like, all right, who else on this team can give me 30? Who else when I sub out this game can really say all right, we need a bucket, go. You know what I'm saying? So
it's a problem, and I love the guy. League fits love him as well. But it's a problem if Jordan Clarkson is your second best player, has to be your second best player in the postseason. And we can just end it at that.
Yeah, and Jordan Clarkson is tough. And it's almost like, similar to the Knicks situation where you mentioned Derrick Rose. If Derrick Rose is your best player, come playoff time, love Derrick Rose, but maybe, what I'm saying, that's something to think about. And obviously I'm not saying JC is, the Utah's best player, but if that's your second option and you're trying to win a championship from a scoring perspective, that's even more of a reason why to put, Spider in this category. But yeah, number 6 again. So for me, my top 25 NBA players, 25 and under, I got Luka, Tatum, Trae, Book, and Spider. Again, not including any rookies at all. All right, so number 6, again, I think we probably gonna be consistent on this one too. I got that boy from New Orleans.
Which one?
Number one. I got you. I got
which one?
A number 1 overall pick. It's Zion.
Okay.
Damn, I should have said he goes to Duke. Should have, or he went to Duke. I should have.
Well, which one?
I know. That's what I'm saying. I should have kept leading on with it. I mean, I'm gonna go with Zion. Again, another guy who I feel like has something to prove this year. Again, we know statistically what he can do. And just what he can do on the basketball court and affect the overall game. But now, again, similar to Luka, it's about winning. But at the same time, I can't ignore what he does. So I got Zion at 6. And I think, depending on how the season goes, he could definitely sneak into that top 5. But I got Zion at 6. I know a lot of people feel like he should probably be top 5, but I just need to see a little bit more winning basketball down
over
in New Orleans. That's all.
Over who?
Well, again, that's why I wasn't even going to entertain it. Because again, the part that people don't like to acknowledge is, well, who the hell are you taking out? Mm-hmm. And the 5 guys that we named are solid. You know what I'm saying? So I got Zion at 6.
I got number 6. I got Brandon Ingram, actually, his teammate. I think Brandon Ingram's a stud. I think Brandon Ingram do a lot of things very well. He's looked like he's added on some muscle this offseason, which is going to help him get to the paint more, get to the rim, draw fouls, all that good stuff. He's also an underrated three-point shooter. He's added that to his game since he's been with the Oregon Post. And he doesn't shoot a lot of it, but if you can hit a high 35, 36 from the clip on the three-point line, you're doing something right. So I expect that to continue to improve as well. Also, he can handle the ball. He can play like the point forward position for the Oregon Pelicans, even though they kind of went away from him doing that, let Zion doing that.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's all about just figuring out what they're going to do with these two. I think these guys are interchangeable. Like Brandon Ingram can be, Zion Williamson can be number 6. Brandon Ingram can be number 6. I just think it's like figuring out like who you're going to run the offense through, because both of them been all-stars, but both haven't really had any success since being a duo with the Oregon Pelicans.
Yeah, and I mean that's a good problem to have in a way. You have a tough time figuring out who your number 1 is, especially if it's those guys. It's not like we're talking about some guys who can't do it. Yeah. But I think it's a good problem to have. They're both still young, like I said, 25 and under. I think there's going to be a lot more opportunity for them this year, and I think they both understand that too. The fact that I think they can play together, and eventually they're going to have to work some things out. But I'm not mad at it. Be at 6. I still got Zion at 6. So I wouldn't say for me personally, it's a flip flop. But I'm gonna go Zion at 6. I think so. Number 7, I have someone on my list who I have a feeling you probably won't have on your list at all. As crazy as that sounds, I got someone at 7.
I hope not. If it's that high, Jesus Christ.
No, it is. But just because, again, just to remind everyone, this is 25 and under. So if they're 25, they're eligible to be on our list. Feel me? And for me, that number 7 is Karl Anthony Towns.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Karl Anthony Towns 25.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I didn't have a feeling that you didn't have, but again, because so listen. I know Cat is in Minnesota. I know, again, when we talk about nationally televised games, and you'd be surprised, bro, how much that's a huge factor. You know what I'm saying? In terms of how, people don't get to watch their games. Like we see
he's actually on my list, actually. Yeah.
He is? Okay, well, yeah, I got him at 7. He is one of those guys, man, where I really want him to win. And I can't blame too much. Like, obviously, that organization has been through a lot. Hell, he himself has been through a lot over these past couple of years with that organization, but it's still, you still just want him to win. You know what I'm saying? Regardless, and I hate that that's the case, but like when your career eventually comes to a close, the number one thing that a player gets judged by is like, well, did you win? All like, and that kind of is how life is, but the question still remains, did you win? But even still, there's no denying the talent that Cat is, one of the best centers in the league. But yeah, I got him at 7.
At number 7, I'm not mad at that. He's actually closer. He's in my top 10, so I think he's in my top 10. But yeah, number 7 that's not a problem at all. I think number 7 for me, I have a guy that you may not have on your list, and people kind of underestimate. But this guy came into the league basically as a defender, then improved on his game to become a 3-and-D type of player, then improved on his game to become, a legitimate all-star. One of the best young players in the game, can create off his shot, can do a whole bunch of things. And that's Jaylen Brown. I think Jaylen Brown's a stud. Everybody talks about Jayson Tatum as they should, because Jayson Tatum to me is the best young player in the game. But he has a running mate, and that's Jaylen Brown.
No, I definitely have Jaylen on here. I won't say what number just yet, to ruin it, but I have Jayson on here. And like to me,
Jaylen Brown. Yeah, we keep getting them up because they both Jays. You said Jason. Yeah, Jaylen Brown.
My fault. Yeah.
No, you good.
Yeah, I have Jaylen Brown on here. The thing is too why I know you said Jaylen Brown, but the thing is too why I didn't want to have Brandon and Zion too close together was because of the lack of wins, and it would have just felt weird to me to have two guys, in that top 6 or 6 and 7. That aren't winning, especially if you got two guys that are, right? And Jayson Tatum and Jalen Brown. But that's, like I said, I'm not mad. I like JB. And I hope the Celtics keep both of them. I know people are saying like, you gotta pick one and like keep both, right? Like it's very rare, I feel like, in league history, really, when you have two talented wings, right, that both are young and got drafted to your team. Like keep both. Okay. And like they're good. You'll be all right.
It ain't happening, but I hear you.
Right.
Unless they win, it ain't happening unless they win a championship.
I mean, you can play that. You can play the unless they win thing with damn near all 30 teams, unless they win. And
they've had opportunity to talk. If you look at it like a young group and these young players, Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum has been in the best like team situation in a way where it's just like kind of like damn. Come on now, like.
But you know what though? In their defense, I think that
of course. No, I'm not judging them. If those
situations were to happen now, they would have played in some NBA finals or at least one.
Yeah, that's true. They took
so
a little time.
They were babies, they were
But it's a whole lot of factors too.
Right.
It's a whole lot of factors that go in that.
So number 8, I got another Kentucky guy. He's in Denver. He's banged up right now. Obviously, he's injured, but I still felt the need to put him, on this list, and that's Jamal Murray. Obviously, what he did in the bubble, man, I think the spotlight was really on him, and he proved to everyone what he could really do. Whether some people think like it was a fluke or not, I'm not one of those people. But to me, that's a good thing that people might even consider that. Is because, like, in my opinion, the time to show up is the playoffs, right? Like, I'd rather you go crazy when it matters than, you do all this fancy stuff in the regular season, then you go ghost. You know what I'm saying? So I think the fact that Jamal elevated his game and took it to another level is even more reason why I have him in the top 10. Now, obviously, I know he's injured right now, but you're talented and you're playing high level basketball on a winning team. Obviously, you have the MVP as a teammate, but there ain't no denying what Jamal Murray is good at when it comes to being able to score and lead a team in the playoffs.
Yeah, and that's not bad. I think Jamal Murray's a stud. I think Jamal Murray if a healthy Jamal Murray returns to the Denver Nuggets this season, they could be a legitimate title contender, in my opinion. I think that's how special Jamal Murray is. Now we got to see how he's going to come off the ACL injury and stuff like that, but he does a lot of things. He's a real pure scorer, pure hooper, and a pure shot creator. That means he can create his shot in a variety of ways. And it's kind of like they got him playing a point guard position, but he's really kind of like he's a two guard in a point guard's body in a way. Like he's not really going to really facilitate and run the offense, but he's a problem when he's a bucket. That's probably something he needs to work on and improve on, but maybe not. Since if you got Nikola Jokic being the point center, you may not need that. So
I'm just gonna say that's extremely convenient for him. It's like, all right, well, you have like be like the best passing big man of all time. Mm-hmm. So it's like, well, do you really? It obviously helps if you're going to play the one, but if you got a great passing center, it kind of balances out in a way.
Yeah.
So did you who would you have at number 8?
I didn't say mine yet. No, number 8 was Karl-Anthony Towns. Actually, Karl-Anthony Towns is 1-on-1 to me. He's a 7-foot sharp shooting center. We've never really seen it. Like he's the best shooting big man in the league. All we need is wins, get into the playoffs, and him kind of proving that he can be this number one option. And that's kind of like the thing. It's like either he can be the number one option and take Minnesota to the playoffs consistently, or he may be in a better situation if he goes to a better team situation where he can be the number 2 and be the second best player on maybe like a championship caliber team. But he's special. He's a 7-foot, like I said, 7-foot sharp shooting center. That's 1-on-1. We really don't like his shooting ability is insane. Like people don't talk about it because they don't watch a lot of Minnesota games. Also, he's been hurt the past 1 or 2 years, so he hasn't really played a lot of games himself. So that's just how you got to look at it. That's why he's number 8 on my list. But talent wise, you can make a legitimate argument that he should be in this top 5 in this group.
Yeah, and I mean he could put the ball in the floor too. At that size. I mean obviously. Wouldn't have him be in a pick and roll type of situation as a ball handler, but at that size to be able to put the ball on the floor, that definitely helps out, in terms of spacing too, right? All right, but who you got at number 9?
Number 9, I got Zion Williamson. I think Zion is a stud.
I forgot you didn't list him yet. Damn.
I haven't listened. Zion Williamson's a stud. I think figuring out, he's too young to be having a minutes restriction. I hate to say it, but it's just like you got to let him play. You got to let him go. You got to let him see what he's about. I understand that like you're worried about his health and maybe his weight or his size on those knees and stuff like that. But we gotta let him. We got to see what Zion can really do on an 82 game regular season. He's probably never going to play 82 regular season games. Who knows? But it's just kind of like, and that's just something I'm kind of worried about because if he's supposed to be your best player and your number one option, and you can't rely on him on a nightly basis. That's why I have Brandon Ingram higher than Zion Williamson, because I feel like you got to probably run your offense through Brandon Ingram because it's more important for him to get a rhythm and stay in rhythm because he's probably going to be on the court more than Zion Williamson. So, but Zion Williamson's a stud. We know what he's about. He was shooting 55, 60% for the field, like without a jumper. Like it's serious. Like
he's not tall. Well, in terms of
he's
like
6'6", 6'5", 6'6". You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like the day he keeps I hope he develops similar to look. I hope he looks at a player like Julius Randle. How Julius Randle came into the league because Julius Randle played below the rim. Like he was a bully.
Nothing but bully ball.
Bully ball.
Nothing but bully ball going to the left.
Now look at him. But credit to him. Now I hope Zion can look at this like, Zion Williams is unstoppable again. He's averaging 25 right now by doing that. Imagine if he start putting in that work to create off the dribble, getting moves, being able just to score and dominate at the second zone. Forget the 3-point line. If he can create his shot and start getting easy buckets in the midi, where they can't build a wall up in the playoffs against them, he may average 35, man.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing that you brought up was, develop. And that's the thing too, at all 25 games that we're going to mention. Just a reminder, they're all 25 and under. Mm-hmm. So obviously, how you feel about them potential-wise is one thing, but just understand that, hell, we got, I might have someone on here at 20 who can move up easily into the top 10. So because I think they're all in that phase where there's still room for them to grow. Now it's just a matter of can they put the work in to do it. Mm-hmm. So for me, number 9, I had Jalen Brown.
Okay, it's not bad.
Obviously he plays winning basketball. I don't think it's a Batman and Rodman, Michael and Scotty kind of thing out there in Boston, even though most people might.
It needs to be.
Agree. Oh, you think it needs to be?
It needs to be. That's part of the reason why.
Jalen is pretty like damn cold. And obviously not saying that Jayson
No,
Tatum isn't.
mellow.
like,
He's very mellow and stuff like that.
He's tough.
Yeah, he's tough, but it comes to a point where like you got to understand like whose team it is, and you got to understand that like Jayson Tatum's. I know you. It's okay for you to feel that you're the best player on the Boston Celtics. Shit, you want all your players to feel that way. Like I'm the best player every time I step on the court. But at some point, you got to understand like, yo, we got the best young player in the game right now, in my opinion, and possibly could be not just the best young player someday, possibly could be the best player in the world someday on this team. And it's just kind of like we have to run the offense through him, and I can't take shots. And it can't always be this, and that's why I'm kind of eager to see what they do with their new head coach, and I'm kind of glad Brad Stevens has kind of like decided to go to the front office, even though we could talk about that another day, because that's just kind of like
I'm good. I'm good.
Just ridiculous in a way, but it's just kind of like it was too much 1 and 2. Like you go, I go, you go, I go, you go, I go, and it's kind of like it don't need to always be that.
Yeah, I think the thing is too though is that because they're so close in age, right? It's kind of tough to say like, yo,
so Russ and KD,
I'm the top dog. Yeah,
James Harden situation.
Right, and it's like, obviously, being young, it's your friend and all that, it's teammate, but at the same time, it's like, all right, I got
business.
This. Yeah. I got this. But I think that the good thing though is with Jaylen Brown is that I don't think, like, even just the way he plays, that he feels like, all right, I got to get mine, or I got to get my shots up. I got to make sure I'm straight. So that's good, and I hope it kind of stays that way, because again, at the end of the day, I don't give it's a business and everybody want to win, but at the end of the day, if somebody got ego problems, and there's no coaching against that. That's just you got to make it work. But for me to round up my top 10, I got BI. Keep saying this, but I just need some wins now. I'm glad he was able to show what he can really do. Now that he's no longer with the Lakers. Obviously, that trade happened a while ago. But like, just the idea of showing that opportunity can really help showcase how a player really is. You know what I'm saying? Like, number 2 overall pick, being in New Orleans. Hopefully, that team can make the playoffs this year. We'll see what they can do. But I got BI round out my top 10.
That's not bad. My number 10. It's gonna be some people that feel that some guys that's gonna come below him is higher than him. But I would say Deandre Fox, and I'm my number 10. Doesn't get a lot of coverage in Sacramento. We've had conversations about a couple point guards we're gonna list, and guards we're gonna list from my list below him, and you're gonna list below him as well, probably. But it's just like he's special. Athletic, fastest player in the league, can read off the dribble, can shoot the 3. Like, he can do a lot of things that people don't really understand and probably not watching because he plays in Sacramento. But, like, they talk about a lot of players and rank a lot of players ahead of him, but they're not better than this young man. And that's why I got to give him his flowers and make sure he's on my top 10, 2,500 list. Yeah,
and I mean, he's on a team that hasn't really done any, like, crazy free agency or trades.
And they miss a lot. They miss a lot.
Right. And I know they've kind of tried their best to build through the draft. And that's kind of what you have to do, when you're building, in a market like Sacramento. But I mean, at the end of the day, because you're now on national television like De'Aaron, people may just kind of either forget or not mention your name when it comes to conversation like this. But De'Aaron, he's like that. Just got to win some basketball games. Obviously exposure is one thing, but I guarantee you, once you start winning, you'll get the exposure. So okay, I'm not mad at 10. So say you're 6 through 10 again.
6 through 10.
Yeah.
Brandon Ingram, Jalen Brown, Karl-Anthony Towns, Zion Williamson, De'Aaron Fox.
All right, bad. All right, okay. So okay. You got De'Aaron at 10. All right. Sorry. Yeah. So here we go. I think the next 5, the next tier that we can go into, you can mention your 11 through 15.
11 through 15?
Yes, sir.
Number 11, Ben Simmons.
There he is.
Ben Simmons.
There he is.
And I'm just going to listen. Ben Simmons, SGA, the boy Shy, Ja Morant, LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards. 11 through 15.
Let me pull up. And again, I have my list on my phone.
You want to talk? You want to talk about mine first, and then we let you say yours, or
yeah. Because I got some names, bro. Wow. I think, bro. Say your list one more time, please.
Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
SGA. Ja Morant. LaMelo Ball. Anthony Edwards.
Oh yeah, it's gonna get interesting because I don't got none of those dudes in my next 5. I got I won't ruin the surprise too much, but I don't got any of those guys in my next 5 outside of a player that you mentioned already that I didn't. But we gonna chop it up on this segment. So tell me why you got those guys 11 through 15.
Ben Simmons should feel if Ben Simmons sees his list, like this should put a fire on him. For talent wise, he should be number 1. He should be number 1. Talent wise, he has all the tools, all the potential. We know what's going on in Philly right now. You know, I've always felt like he needs a new situation, but him and Donovan Mitchell came in the league during the same time. You know, Ben Simmons sat out a year, and then they was battling for Rookie of the Year. One guy is still in that top 5. Another guy's not. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like, that's just what it is. Ben Simmons is arguably the best defender in the NBA right now. For him to be ranked number 11th and how talented he is, he's a walking triple-double. So it's just kind of like, for him to be number 11, it doesn't, he should really be in the top 3, top 5 at least, at bare minimum. He should feel some type of way.
All those top 5 guys, though, you know what they did come playoff time, though. Win or lose.
Exactly.
And I'll just leave it at that. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
And I mean, you mentioned Spider. There were at one point it was really a pick your poison kind of thing. There was at one point you were like, you can't go wrong. But Spider, just went crazy in playoffs, and just leave it at that. But I mean, like again, there's no denying Ben's talent. But at some point we got to acknowledge that there is some difference between him and other players. And so if everything checks out, but that one area, whether it be playoff performance, being clutch, whatever, ain't there, then you got to go with the other guy. Yeah. But, Ben Simmons at 11 isn't crazy.
No, it's not crazy at all. But SGA, Ja Morant, LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards. I feel like people may not like that I have LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards up this high to some people. But let me tell you something. LaMelo, I was struggling if I wanted to put LaMelo Ball in the top 10. And I was struggling if I wanted to put Anthony Edwards behind him. Because I feel like these two are so talented, so gifted. And Anthony Edwards, I keep telling people, don't be surprised this year if Anthony Edwards says Minnesota's is his team. And that's all I'm gonna say. Don't be shocked this year because he has superstar potential. He was the most complete rookie coming into the draft. People are worried about, his jump shot. How's his jump shot going to translate? He only shot 30% for Georgia. I'm like, don't worry about that. He's a stud. Athleticism, 3-level scorer, handle ability, clutch, ego, personality, persona. He check. He was here, and I was just telling people, don't worry about that. Like, he's gonna be here. Came in his rookie season, didn't complain. Came out the bench, showed he should be a starter. Starting now, he's special. He's a special talent. And LaMelo Ball, you know how I feel about LaMelo. LaMelo is special. 6'8", can create off the dribble. People talk about his jump shot. How's he gonna get his jump shot off? His jump shot looked fine to me. He's getting it off. It's going in. He's a playmaker. He has that it factor. He's superstar potential, superstar talent. He's going to be a crazy offensive weapon for years to come. And he's going to make the Charlotte Hornets a very attractive place for free agents to want to come and play. We already saw Gordon Hayward came down there. People talk about, Gordon Hayward just took the money. Yes, he took the money, but he wanted to come down and play with a player like LaMelo Ball who can create his own shot when needed, but also knows how to facilitate and run a style of offense that's going to be kind to other players around him, which makes him very special.
Yeah. I'm not mad at it. I mean, I would hope by now the LaMelo haters are gone. Yeah. I mean, you and I both know they're not. And real quick, I just want to say shout out to James Wiseman, just because I think we're going to enter a territory where he may end up being forgotten. We mentioned we're going to mention LaMelo and Anthony Edwards for years to come and all that, just with the highlights and and obviously they're good. Don't get me wrong. But just like I'm really hoping I don't say like that he pulls through it. He's not going through something crazy, but that he's able to play at a high level out there in Golden State. You're surrounded. You're in a winning culture. That's the one thing I would say he has to his benefit that these guys don't. You're around an MVP. You're around guys who will be entering the Hall of Fame. You're around guys that have championships. So definitely using that to his advantage. But in terms of his overall talent and on-court production, I'm not mad at having LaMelo and Anthony Edwards this high.
Thoughts on SGA and John Morant, 12 and 13.
So it was funny. I was getting ready to say those guys, like you have a trio of point guards, depending on if someone feels Shea as a point guard or two, whatever. But Ja, I mean, I don't really care about the order in terms of like where you have Ja and Shea. But when we talk about winning basketball and all-star selections, and again, not to sit here and say that those are, that relevant, but I think there's other guys out there that may have proven themselves already and have won, right? So that leads to, that's going to lead into my next five as to why I have these guys there.
Okay.
Now, again, just another reminder, y'all, all right? These guys are 25 and under and not rookies, all right? So here's who I have 11 through 15. I got De'Aaron Fox. At number 12, I got Bam. Number 13, I have Sabonis. Number 14, I have Colin Sexton. Number 15, I have DeAndre Ayton. All right? Now, a couple of those guys, right? Bam, Sabonis. Well, Bam and Ayton, two guys that have gone, played in the finals. Sabonis making an all-star game. Sexton, I know he hasn't made an all-star game, and I know his team isn't winning, but when you look at his numbers, I've had him on my fantasy team. He puts up numbers. It's similar to a De'Aaron Fox, who I also had 11 through 15. And so my thing is obviously, if you're not winning games, that's that bothers me a little bit, but at least produce, right? So those two guys, Colin Sexton, they may not be winning, but you look at their numbers, it's almost like, well, it may not be Bradley Beal and Steph type numbers, but it also ain't 12 and 13 a game. They putting the ball in the basket. And also too, I want to give big men some love. DeAndre Ayton, Bam, and Sabonis. I know obviously we're in a guard heavy league, but I think Sabonis, he doesn't get the proper shine that he deserves. I think because he's not a popular player, because he's in Indiana, he kind of reminds me of Vucevic. When he was in Orlando, it's like people didn't realize like the type of numbers he was putting up. It's like, yo, this guy's pretty damn good. Like I know he's in Orlando and they're not winning, but let's make sure we understand he's pretty good. And with Sabonis, man, and obviously too, Ayton, being the number 3 guy on a team that just made it to the finals. Again, don't really care about the journey or whatnot. Your number 1 overall pick that people again may tend to just be so quick to mention Trae and Luka, but may tend to forget that DeAndre Ayton is a walking double-double. And you know what? He fits their system, right? Yeah. You already got a very talented backcourt. I think DeAndre fits right into place with that. There's not as much pressure on him, even though he's a number 1 overall pick. No one is asking him to go out there and average 30 when you got a Hall of Fame point guard in Chris, right? And a guy that can give you 40 in the finals like Devin Booker. Okay. So I think that helps. I think DeAndre Ayton has, all-star potential. So yeah, man, I'm not mad at my...
Say it again. Say it again.
Yeah. All right, I got you. So my 11 through 15, I got De'Aaron Fox, Bam, Sabonis, Colin Sexton, and DeAndre Ayton.
There's a lot of guys on there that's too high for me.
You said you got how? You said
there's a lot of guys on there that's a little bit too high for me.
It's a lot of why is that? Why is
because
that?
I like Colin Sexton a lot, but talent wise, Colin Sexton is a dog. Colin Sexton is going to work hard. He's going to play two-way point guard, two-way guard in this league. But from a talent perspective, Anthony Edwards is better than Colin Sexton. LaMelo Ball is better than Colin Sexton. And it's just kind of like, we could talk about, like, you say they haven't won, but some guys, it's just like, I feel like you put LaMelo Ball on the Cleveland Cavaliers, they would probably win more games with when LaMelo Ball running the show than Colin Sexton. And that's no knock against Colin Sexton, because a lot of things that the Cleveland Cavaliers are doing that's very questionable. But it's just like some guys just have a ability to like make players better a little bit more easier. And that's why people have been talking about, oh, Colin Sexton should come off the bench. No, pump the brakes with the nonsense. That's cap. Colin Sexton may not be able to be your number one scoring option, but put Colin Sexton on the New York Knicks if they didn't get Kemba Walker. They'll be just fine. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be, I don't think they would miss a beat. If you swap Kemba Walker and Colin Sexton on the New York Knicks, I don't think the Knicks, I still think they would be very, very solid. So it's just kind of like, that's what I'm talking about, being like, oh, a number 2 option and number 2 guy like that can sometimes, some nights be the number 1 option. So, and for your big man, I'm not mad. I got a couple, so Bam and DeAndre, I got a couple big men in my next tier. So that was my only thing about the Colin Sexton. And Deandre Fox at number 11, that's not bad. Right. I have him at 10. So, but you I think people have forgotten about, I know what's going on with Philly. But to say Ben Simmons is not a top 15, 25 and under player, come on now. We really gotta stop the cap. And we gotta stop the cap because his impact, I know he doesn't score like some of these guys, but his impact defensively, rebounding, passing ability, running the show, fast break transition, athleticism. And it's just like even playoff basketball, because it's just like people want to talk about what he doesn't do on the basketball side of the court come to playoff time. But what does he's guarding the best player, you know, like he guards the best player. He's guarding guards. Sometimes he's guarding centers. So it's just like defense really matters. Defense is 90% effort, but it really, really matters in a half-court game in the playoffs come postseason time. And Ben Simmons always shows up on that end, contrary to popular belief.
That's a fact. I know people like to point to the offense side of the ball when it comes to Ben, but there's no doubt, defensively he's, top-notch guy. But, a key word that you mentioned about Colin Sexton was the reason why that I had him so high in the top 15, and that was dog. The mentality of just going out there and say, you know what, like, I'm hooping. Yeah. Like, whether I have a bad game or good game, one thing you can count on with Colin Sexton, he gonna hoop. He gonna be there. They might not win. They might lose by a bunch. He's going to hoop. You don't got to question his heart. You don't got to question whether or not he's going to show up for work. Colin Sexton is going to be there. You know what I'm saying? And, the reason why I was hesitant to put LaMelo and Anthony above him, and this is just a knock on me, but they're rookies. That like literally that was the only thing. I wasn't like questioning or denying their talent at all. It just that with me personally, right. Some things just don't matter. But I just still want to see more. Okay. Now again, this list could change for me like within like the first month of the season. Yeah. I'm not questioning LaMelo or Anthony's talent at all, but just the fact and shout out to Anthony too for you mentioned it. He came off the bench to start, and then later in the season he started and then really showed what he could do. And obviously LaMelo folks Ben knew what he could do, and getting the Roy and all that, but rookies, it's almost like when you make a list of like the greatest players, it's like you understand that they still have some time left to reach that 25-year mark, age-wise. And so it's like, let's give them some more time.
Yeah, because there's some guys on here, like, if we just going off of like strictly talent, like I said, Ben Simmons should feel disrespected. Right. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like
right. And look, man, I may not have bro in my top 15, but like I always say about all players in the league, I'm rooting for him. I want. All right, let's go. Let's go. Succeed, but
let's go, because I got some of the similar players in your. In my 16 to 20, but go ahead, say yours first.
Yeah, you want me to say my 16 20? All right.
Yeah.
My 16 through 20. All right, I got Ben Simmons. Here we go, y'all. Okay. 16 is Ben Simmons. Yep. I got D-Lo. I got Ja. I got SGA. And then I have LaMelo. Ben, D-Lo, Josh, SGA, and LaMelo. Yeah, I got five straight.
D-Lo before Ja. And SGA.
Yeah.
From a talent perspective, I'm here. I'm here for people. Yeah. From a talent perspective, I'm here.
Yeah, I just feel bad for D-Lo. Like, he's like one of very few players probably like ever to be like traded so many times that young for no reason. Like in terms, for real though. Like it wasn't like
facts.
D-Lo was like really playing bad. Like literally, like you look at his situation, like everywhere he went, it was just like, well, damn. Like teams have just been in a position where it's like, all right, well, you gotta do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? But there's still again room for him to grow. Even though I think he's 25 years old. Playing with Cat, playing with Anthony Edwards. I really hope that big that trio can develop into something special. And And he plays similar to SGA. He plays with great pace. You know what I'm saying? He might not be the most
quickest.
He might not be the most athletic guy in the league, but he is a guy who I feel can play both positions, the 1 and the 2. He can show great leadership at times. He shows great poise. I mean, there's not too many guys who, get traded or be on 4 different teams, by the age of 25 and still keep their cool, and still produce.
Philly get it done.
And still get it done. So, that's why I have D'Lo there. Shout out to SGA, again, another guy who plays with great pace, slow and steady, but still gets buckets when he wants. I think it's fortunate for him that he's a number 1 option. Doesn't matter, even though it's on the team that may not make the playoffs, he's still the number 1 option. Who else I had? Oh, Ben Simmons, obviously. Again, even though I may not have had him on my top 15, I'm still not denying that he's a defensive stud. And I'm going to have him there regardless of where he goes. I don't think, for me, when it comes to Ben, like, he doesn't really need to prove anything else to me during the regular season. Like, I know that's the thing too, right? Like, when I
think so.
No, bro. Like, to me, like in order for Ben, like, for me to change my mind on Ben Simmons for this regular season, like, he would literally have to average a triple-double, like, and not come close. Like, he would have to average, because again, like, I know what he's capable of doing during the regular season. When I see off-season workouts, I know he's good. I am not like Philly fans. I don't question his talent. You know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of do it when it matters. Do it
I think he's still young. I think he needs to be proven in the regular season and the postseason, but like, he needs a new situation. We've gotten into this back and forth. I just think he needs a new situation. So, because it's just like, we start seeing being in a new situation, and he's doing things in the regular season he didn't do in Philly, then it's going to be like, okay, well, people were talking about, they'll be talking about like Philly may have been holding him back. And that's why I've been saying, I just think Philly may have been holding Ben Simmons back. And he feels that way too. And I'm glad he feels that way.
Fine. But realistically, if that does end up being the case, and you're claiming that if Ben moves to a different situation and he improves and he ends up doing all these different things,
I'm saying his mentality is going to be different. If he's improving during the regular season, his mentality is going to be different in the postseason. If he's on a team that makes it to the postseason, that's all I'm saying. Put it like this. So your team, there's a lot of Lakers fans that set up and told me for years Kyle Kuzma was better than Brandon Ingram. I was like, no, stop it. Oh, yeah, Brandon Ingram's more talented, but Kyle Kuzma's a better player because he's scoring, he's dropping 40, he's dropping 35. I'm like, no, it's not true. Brandon Ingram needs a new situation. Like, that's just what it is. And it's just kind of like, as soon as Brandon Ingram got to that new situation where he got to let his talent blossom, people are like, oh shoot, like, what the hell was I saying, thinking that Kyle Kuzma was a better basketball player than Brandon Ingram? Like, sometimes it's just like, you can see the talent, but sometimes the talent can't evolve depending on the organization or the team that they're on. And that's just what it is. That's what I feel about Brandon Ingram. Now, I could be wrong. That may not, Ben Simmons. I may be wrong. That may not happen, but I think it's going to happen with Ben Simmons. I'm hoping it happens with Ben Simmons. But let me get to my go ahead.
No, but that's a great comparison. Once BI left to New Orleans and we saw what he did. Hopefully that can happen with Ben. But my thing is, though, with Ben, right? He's already been an all-star, right? He's already been the second best player on the number 1 seed of a conference. So the only question to me is, like, what else could he do during the regular season that would make me or you or anyone feel like, damn, he's really improved?
It's crazy, right? But you said that he's been an all-star. He's been a multiple time all-star, arguably the best defender in the NBA. If you don't think he's the best, he's top 3. He's not below 3. He's a stud. Can guard 1 through 5 on the basketball court. I feel that you'll see a different, like, mentality just if he's on a different team in the regular season, where you may be looking like, yo, like, I didn't know he can do this, or he's more aggressive, or he's playing like he's scoring more. Like, I didn't know he can, you're just gonna probably see something different. That's what I'm hoping. But we can't spend too much time talking on Ben Simmons.
I know how much. I know how much. Love.
It's my 16th.
And shout. All right, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think, and shout out to Ja too. I think since you already mentioned him and I already have mine too, I just want to say too. I like what Memphis is doing. Ja is really, I think going to allow that team to reach new heights.
Yeah. But Ja, you came out and said that you was a top 5 point guard after the main guys, and I'm looking at our list. We don't even have you as a top 10, 25 and under player. So
prove us. Prove us wrong.
There you go.
We are rooting for everybody. Prove us wrong.
I'm rooting for Ja. I said I would have taken him over Zion, but it's just like you gonna come out and you saying stuff like that. I'm a top 5 after Kyrie, Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, Damian Lillard, and Stephen Curry. You feel like you after that group. I'm looking at my list. Trae Young. I'm like Luka Dončić. Some people consider a point guard. It's just like SGA. That's and
LaMelo. Yeah,
and LaMelo's right below you. Like in my list, 14, you 13. He's right below you. So that's, to me, that's a toss up. I wasn't like, damn, like John Morant's so much better than LaMelo. I was really like, who I want to put over who. So it's just kind of like, come out and show us. My 16 through 20.
Yes, sir.
I got Bam Adebayo on here. Number 16. Number 17. He's higher on your list. He's a little lower real low on my list because I think he's number 7 on your list. I got Jamal Murray at number 17. Number 18, I got DeAndre Ayton. Number 19, I got Kevin Porter Jr.
I knew I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it. I knew it. Okay.
Kevin Porter Jr. Number 20, I got Sabonis.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at KPJ. I'm not mad at KPJ. I'm not mad at it.
Bam, you is how you feel about Bam. Is how Ben Simmons in the playoffs. That's how I feel about Bam. In the regular season, Bam, they be talking about he a top 3 center. I'm like, okay, whatever y'all want to say. People's making arguments coming into this season. Oh, it just seems like the Heat. It just seems like Tyler Hero's just as good as Ja Morant and Zion Williamson coming into the regular season. They were talking about would you rather have Bam or Joel Embiid? That was a conversation. People, it was literally I used to see things.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that.
It was literally things like of course Joel Embiid's better, but like it ain't Bam is close. He's a top 3 center. I'm like, oh my God, like come on now. So there you go. Playoffs. I need him to show that be aggressive. Like I think Jimmy Butler even said it during some post-game interviews during the playoffs and stuff like that. We need him to be aggressive when it matters the most. Like this finesse game, like you can guard. He's a great point guard 1 through 5. Like he's a special defender. He can pass. He can play like the point center position. But like all that finesse, like and he want to take mid-range shots, get to the rim. You're super athletic. Go dunk on somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like let it fly. So that's what I need to see from him. Jamal Murray. I know if a lot of people may feel like he's a little bit too low because talent-wise, he's just as talented as a lot of these guards that I have ahead of him. But I think with Jamal Murray, it's kind of like I'm still waiting on Jamal. It's like I'm waiting for him to put up a consistent year of like showing us what he did in the bubble was special. But I'm waiting for him. He's still young, but I'm waiting for him to be like, you know what? Put up this consistent year where we got to like say, no, you're an all-star. You knocking somebody off this all-star list in the guards. Like that's what I'm waiting for. It's too much. 25, 30, okay. Next game, 15, 17. It's a little bit too much of that with Jamal Murray.
But I think though that's because of the Nuggets offense and like their team though. And I'm not saying that's an excuse.
Bro.
But like this. If that's the case, like if he gives you 30 one night and he gives you 15 and 17 the next night, but they win both games, to me that's acceptable. Just because of how they play. Right now, some teams need you to score 25 every night, and if you don't, they're gonna lose.
But it shouldn't be where in the bubble where we're looking at Jamal Murray like we love Nikola Jokic, but like to win a championship, Jamal Murray may have to be their best player because it's just like creating on his shot. He can do things that Jokic just can't do because he's a guard. You know what I'm saying? Like those big key moments. You want Jamal to take you home. That's just you want most guards to kind of take you home. So it's just like I can't feel that way one day and then the next day I'm looking like, damn, Michael Porter Jr. may be the second best player on the team. That's a problem. That's why I have him. That's why I have him at 17 on my list. DeAndre Ayton, like you said, people kind of forgot about him, but it was a great pickup for the Phoenix Suns. And shout out James Jones. He making right picks, right moves and stuff like that. But he's a stud. He can be higher. I think this is fine for him, 18, but he can be higher if you want to. I always give the edge to guards because guards create their own offense. So that's why you see like my next tier was so like guard heavy because I look at these players that, Bam Adebayo, as great as he is, he can play the point center position, but that's, you don't want that. You really don't want him doing that all the time. DeAndre Ayton, you got to give him the ball and stuff like that. Jamal Murray, I talk about the inconsistency. Kevin Porter Jr., I'm here. Here we go.
First of all, before you get your rant, first of all, you're not just about to slide that word inconsistency with Jamal. You just slid at the end. But I hear you. Look, the only reason why, that I thought you were going to say why Jamal was that low because you had concerns about his injury. But other than that, you should have been higher. But yeah, go ahead. Go ahead about KPJ. Go ahead.
Kevin Porter Jr. People are going to say like, oh, you just talked about Jamal Murray being inconsistent. Kevin Porter Jr. has to put up a consistent year, but Kevin Porter Jr. has to play as well. Like he's been in a lot of situations. He hasn't been playing a lot. The stuff in the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he comes to the Rockets and they had him in the G League to get him like, in rhythm and stuff like that. Then he got a chance to showcase like, he's here. Kevin Porter Jr. was to me the most talented guard in his draft class. He's a special player. He can handle the ball. He can shoot it. He can create for others. He can be ball dominant. It's just like he's special. Don't be surprised at the end of this season if people are talking about Kevin Porter Jr. is a top 10, 25 and under player in the game. And those are my expectations. Those are my expectations for Kevin Porter Jr. They may not win a lot of games, but I think people are going to see Kevin Porter Jr.'s talent and it's going to blossom. They're going to be like, damn, we got rid of James Harden, but you know what? We may have his protege. Those are my expectations for Kevin Porter Jr. And Sabonis, top 20. Sabonis, he made an all-star team. Sabonis is a great young player, but he can be higher, he can be lower, but it's the market. It's the, like I said, it's the game. I think that's a good fit for him. It's a lot of guys I'm taking over Sabonis on this list. That's why I don't have you had him a little too high for me, but Sabonis is still great. He's still a stud.
The thing is with Sabonis though is that he's proven. Like when you mentioned KPJ, obviously he's talented, he's good.
That's true.
But a lot of that, I feel like why you have him there is based off potential. Now I'm not mad at it. Obviously, some of these guys are teenagers for crying out loud. Yeah. But right now, Sabonis is like. For a fact.
I know what he is.
I
know what he is.
And KPJ, like I said, KPJ is one of those guys who can move up like crazy. Yeah. But at the same time, Sabonis, even though I don't feel like he's reached his peak or his prime yet, he's here, right? I won't go too far and say he could be the best player on a championship team, but
no, not at all.
He's a very talented basketball player. Play this. He can be the best player on a playoff team. I'd say that much.
Yeah, a lot
of who you have around him, he can be the best player on a playoff team.
A lot of these guys I mentioned can be the best player on a playoff team. I think Ben Simmons can be the best player on a playoff team.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, also too, not just
in the right situation.
To Ben, right. It all depends.
So it's just kind of like Sabonis, as great as he is, like he may be get the Pacers to a first round matchup. That's about it. That's about it. That's about it. But you put Sabonis and make him your number 3. Maybe make him your number 2. It may get a little scary.
I mean, yeah, there aren't too many Finals MVPs candidates on my 25 and under list.
Excuse me?
So I said there are not too many Finals MVP candiets on my 25. I said not too many. I didn't say none. Okay. I just said not too many.
I see 5 on mine.
All right, here we go. 21 through 25. You want to say yours or you
go ahead? You say
yours.
Go say yours.
All right. So my final five players for top 25, players aged 25 and under, not including rookies, all right? 21, I got Anthony Edwards.
Too low.
I got John Collins. I got Michael Porter Jr. I got RJ Barrett. And I got Lonzo Ball. I am sad that I have Anthony Edwards this low, but again, coming off a rookie year, and again, it's not to say that he can't move up, obviously, but it's just, guys, when you've already repeated, right, like how good you can be, to me, that gives you a slight edge. I don't anticipate, Anthony Edwards or even LaMelo declining this year, but 1 year isn't a large enough sample size for me to put you higher in terms of like where we had the top 5 guys and everything like that. John Collins, shout out to him, getting that crazy contract. As I mentioned before, what Atlanta did, it wasn't just a Trae Young thing. Obviously, he was the leader of the ship, but, John and the rest of the team had something to do with it. There's a reason why he got that contract. MPJ, another guy when we talk about contracts, because just got that huge deal. Looking to see what he can do now that Jamal, will be injured, and, Michael will really be that number 2 option in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
RJ, shout out to the Knicks. They just added another all-star piece. But I think that'll take some pressure off RJ and allow him to really develop. And so number 25, Lonzo. He'll be in a new situation, a new team that, can possibly and potentially make the playoffs. You're playing with some all-stars or all-star level players. So yeah, I'm cool with my 5, man. Anthony Edwards, or my last 5, my 25. Anthony Edwards, John Collins, Michael Porter Jr., RJ Barrett, and Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, so I got number 21. I got D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell, we talked about him already. Pure hooper, pure scorer, led the Brooklyn Nets as the number 1 option to a playoff team. People are going to say, oh, they had a great team around him. He was still the captain of the ship. So you got to give credit to D'Angelo Russell. I feel like the Golden State Warriors didn't even try to attempt to see what they had with D'Angelo Russell because they were so worried about culture and fit. Now look at him, but who knows what can happen with that situation. Then at number 22, I had Colin Sexton, 2-way bully, 2-way dog on both of the sides of the basketball court. Offensively, you know what he's going to give you. Defensively, you know what he's going to give you. And he's hungry. He's a guy that's like, his ceiling may not be as high as these guys on this list, but it's just like, if you everybody wants a Colin Sexton on their team. So that's how I feel about them. Number 20, what was that, 23? 23, I had Michael Porter Jr. I think Michael Porter Jr. would be higher on this list if he didn't have suffered those, crazy injuries in college. But he's extremely talented, sharp shooter. I expect him to be averaging 22 points per game, anywhere between, 21 to 24 points per game for the next 10 years in his career. Simply the fact that he can just shoot the damn basketball. So he's special. That's 23. That's number 23. I had, yeah. Yeah,
that was 23. That was 23, yeah.
24. I got Lonzo Ball. And Lonzo Ball has done a really great job of canceling the noise. Like, he came in with a lot of high expectations because he played with the Los Angeles Lakers, also because of his father doing what he had to do, the marketing ability to get him to LA and stuff like that. But people forget Lonzo Ball is a really, really solid young player who still has a lot of potential and room to grow. I think he went down to New Orleans. He didn't get to really play his game. They kind of made him into a 2 guard. He was doing a lot of catch and shoot, but this is a guy that needs a ball in his hand. He can run the floor and also can run the offense, and is very unselfish. So I was very excited when he came to New Orleans and they got Zion Williams because I thought it was going to be Lob City Part 2. But talk about a poverty franchise in New Orleans, not running their organization the right way, not building a great roster around, because you have Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Zion Williamson all on the same team, all under 25 years old. You figure it out with all that talent. But hey, that's here nor there. That's 24. 25. It was a toss-up between RJ Barrett and John Collins.
I know who you're choosing.
It was a toss-up.
We all know who you're choosing, Mr. Anti-Nick. Knicks are a poverty franchise. We know who you're going with, bro.
It was a toss-up. But I'm gonna roll with John Collins.
I think
I gotta roll with John Collins because John Collins he's uber athletic. The pick and roll game with him and Trae Young, they fit perfectly with each other. I just think John Collins also has a lot of more room to grow and potential as well. He's improved his 3-point shooting ability, so being a spot up shooter. I think that duo with Trae Young and John Collins is very fun. It's very special. It can be potentially a Amari, Steve Nash type 2.0 in the A. So that's why I got to get 25 for John Collins. I couldn't leave him off the list. RJ Barrett almost made it. I was thinking about RJ. I think RJ got a chance. Like, RJ, this is a big year for him. I've talked about RJ Barrett a lot. I think he's gonna really. Well, I hope he improves. If he really improves this year and takes that next leap and takes that next step of being able to be a really like go-to guy in the half court, the Knicks would be very, very tough. But if he doesn't, who knows? But put it like this. It's one player that's not on this list. It's two players on this list that I expect to be on this list next year. I already talked about one before and I'll let you say yours and we'll get out of here. One was, I just had a blank. Wow.
Jalen Green.
One was Jalen Green. And number two, RJ Barrett's former teammate, Cam Reddish.
No Cade?
Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish. That's Cam Reddish.
No Cade.
Cam Reddish.
All right. Let me see something real quick.
You heard it here first.
Do you feel like there's any players out there that we left off or?
Oh man, it's Deontay.
I have some names that
Deontay Murray could have been on here.
Yeah,
he's close.
Deontay Murray.
I left off RJ Barrett. So
you did.
Mikal Bridges.
Yeah, I got some. Jaren Jackson Jr.
He didn't play a lot this season. He's super talented though.
Jared Allen, Tyler Hero, Miles Turner, Kelly Oubre.
Prove a year for Tyler Hero, because if you ask people 2 years ago, he should be top 15. Yeah, we left a couple. I think
Mitchell Robinson, Kobe White, Darius Garland. That's so tough. Man to just hand the entire. But yeah, you know what though? That's the thing though. I think with our list is that there wasn't any one where I feel like it was like, all right, so and so has
to be on it. No, nobody like Tyler Hero did not have to be on this list.
I think the thing that you might catch the most slack for is probably not having RJ on there. But I mean, to me, the toss up is probably between RJ, John Collins, and Cam Porter Jr. And I'll throw Cam Porter Jr. in there.
Yeah, that's fine. But one player, Kevin Porter Jr. showed me more in 15 games than RJ Barrett has shown me in 2 years. I hate to say it, but it is what it is. I like RJ Barrett, but from a talent perspective, from a skill set perspective, Kevin Porter Jr. on the New York Knicks and RJ Barrett if you swap those two players, man, it's people just don't understand. I don't want to. I don't like we got to stop that comparing two players and stuff like that. But just put like this: Kevin Porter Jr.'s specialty is, I think he's special talent. My eyes tell me that Kevin Porter Jr. Can be a top 10 player on this list next year, more so than RJ Barrett.
I would say the person on this list that I feel has the most room to move up is probably Michael Porter Jr. Just because he's probably the main one that has the most change in opportunity, right? Like anytime, a guy who scores 40, 50, whatever, and the playoffs goes down, and you're now being asked to be the second option to an MVP, that only means one thing. You're about to be getting the basketball a hell of a lot more. And I mean, too, people already knew MPJ probably, again, outside of health concerns and whatnot.
Yeah, of course, higher.
It would be higher. So,
it's
gonna be interesting.
Knicks fans, imagine you could have had Michael Porter Jr. and RJ Barrett on the same team.
And on that note, yeah, we will see y'all before this man says the words
on the same team
franchise.
On the same team.
So we'll see y'all. Y'all be easy.
It's your boy, My K Smith, also known as AK. Make sure you guys go follow No Pump Fakes wherever you get your podcasts.